Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Tuesday, November 30th, 2010, and I'm Darko. Welcome to this Eugenics News Bulletin. For those that are just joining us in this part 2 of the Eugenics News, please visit my website, www.ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. I post all my videos there, along with my YouTube channel, but you can, if you check out my website, you can also find out some personal information about who I am, what I'm doing, what my goal is, my mission here with these news videos. And there's also an option to, if you want to, even 10 cents, to donate, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm going to move on here to this crazy article. Wi-Fi makes trees sick, study says. And it's like I said in the last video, it's just interesting that it's all about the trees. It's all about saving the whales and the manatees, but no one really gives a crap about people anymore. It's really just an anti-human planet now. And it says city trees are becoming sick from wireless radiation from local area networks and mobile phones, according to a European study. And it says a Dutch agency that looks into the health effects of electromagnetic radiation issued a statement that the results of the research described in this story were unconfirmed. Okay, so, quote, based on the information now available, it cannot be concluded that it cannot be concluded that the Wi-Fi radio signals lead to damage to trees or other plants, it said, according to a Google translation. So there you go, folks. This is like the third article that I've covered where by the time I save it as a bookmark, and by the time I get to it, there's been some kind of editor's note where they go in there and then they fix it to where these agencies or these studies they have to go out there and they don't want. See, this is the thing, guys. Information like this goes through certain channels, certain networks. Like Financial Times, you have to have subscriptions. Club of Rome documents. And, this is for the hoople heads, and they don't want the hoople heads getting a hold of this information. So, it's called, damage control and all that. So now they're going to tell us radiation from Wi-Fi networks is harmful to trees, causing significant variations in growth, as well as bleeding and fissures in the bark, according to a recent study in the Netherlands. So these wireless towers do give off electromagnetic radiation. There is something called smog. So, the scientists know about it. They refer to it as smog. And it's out there. It's going through your bodies. And you can believe, these little statements here. That's great. That's awesome that they did that, and I'm glad that I read it. But me personally, I don't buy anything that the scientists say when they fix their facts such as this. The fact is they did a study, right? And then they posted this, and then they came back, and then they put this in here. So it says that besides electromagnetic fields created by mobile phone networks and wireless LANs, ultrafine particles emitted by cars and trucks may be also to blame. Oh, yeah, that's right. See, yeah, that's right. They come down and they throw this little propaganda in there. These particles are so small that they'd be able to enter the organisms. Yeah, you think these dipshits are going to mention that they're also the government and private corporations and universities are spraying little ultrafine particles known as nanoparticles, and it's falling over all the living organisms on this planet, including humans? No, they don't want to include that into this stupid article, do they? So let's finish it up. It says that the study exposed 20 ash trees to various radiation sources for a period of 3 months. Trees placed closest to the Wi-Fi radio demonstrated a lead-like shine on their leaves. It was caused by the dying of the upper and lower epidermis of the leaves. This would eventually result in the death of parts of the leaves. The study also found that Wi-Fi radiation could inhibit growth of corn cobs. And we move on to this, playing God with planet Earth. And it says here, imagine a time in the not-too-distant future when scientists try to mimic the effects of a volcanic explosion. Oh, don't you like this, guys? Don't you like how the parents talk to you? Like a red-headed stepchild, and they slap you in the face. And because that's what it is for me. I'm being slapped in the face because I'm an intelligent human being, and I'm aware of what's going on. I look around. I walk my dog. I look up in the sky every single day to see what's going on. Are they spraying low today? Are they spraying high today? Like what type of trails are there today? Are there white plains, or now I just saw red plains? So I'm observing. I'm a cognizant human being. So I know that they're already spraying because I do my own research and I read news articles where the Russians and the Chinese say openly that they're performing weather modification in order to, quote, combat climate change. So you're going to read this little intro here, and it says, oh, see, imagine a time in the not too distant future, as if it's not effing happening already. I'm so sick of reading this stuff. It is insult to my intelligence. That's all I have to say. Consider a climate emergency so severe that engineers create a sulphuric sunscreen. It says hoping, see, there you go. There's the pictures of it right there. Did you like that? And it says here, a sulphuric sunscreen, talking about aluminum and barium salts, hoping to stop the melting of polar ice, turn back the rising sea, and prevent the horrific storms that would send environmental refugees running for their lives. So, and it goes down here, it says scientists are considering radical and controversial schemes, right? Controversial. Well, how can something be controversial if it doesn't exist? If they say they're not doing it and they are doing it? No, that's immoral, okay? That's just basically experimenting on people and plants and all of animal life and the earth itself. They're experimenting on us, and they're telling us that they're looking to doing it. I don't know about you, that ticks me off, though. And the scientists, the experts say, right? So come and check this article out. This is from the Canadian local propaganda rag. I'm going to move on to a new one. Oh, U.S. News, another propaganda rag. It's carrying Healthy Day or Health Day. Scientists find way to partially reverse aging in mice. Impact on people is unclear at this early stage of research, study authors says. U.S. scientists say they have partially reversed age-related degeneration in mice, leading to new brain and testes growth, improved fertility, and the return of lost cognitive function or thinking skills. And who do you think that's going to be saved for, folks? I bet if you were to go and look at this research, you'd find that it'd be Rockefellers or some of these other individuals that are paying for this research, the Gates Foundation. This is for them. This is for the elites. This is for the ruling class. And we are seeing our entire society right now just going through a nice little transitional period. The eugenics is taking hold, and now it's time for the elites to look to the stars, right? To live forever. But unfortunately, this little technological breakthrough is not going to be available for a pleb such as you or I. Senate passes bill to boost food safety inspections, oversight in wake of deadly outbreaks. So remember all those stupid outbreaks with the strawberries, tomatoes, and it basically screwed a bunch of hardworking farmers down south over because they had to dump all their all their food and vegetables and crops that their livelihoods depend on, all because the FDA basically told them to, and they forced them to. And there was hardly any sicknesses or deaths that resulted from that epidemic. And then you had the egg outbreak, and then they came to find out that they actually couldn't find people that were getting sick from it. So hey, go figure. And that's what they used to force this food dictatorship bill down the Americans' throats. So. Oh, and let's read what it says. Like everything else, sweeping new powers granted to the federal government, the Reichstag. The Senate passed legislation Tuesday to make food safer. Oh, see, they're going to keep you safer, folks. And it says, in the wake of deadly E. coli and salmonella outbreaks, potentially giving the government broad new powers, just like the Federal Reserve received after the big housing bubble crisis with the passing of the bailout of the TARP funds, right? That gave the Federal Reserve sweeping new powers. So to increase inspections of food processing facilities and force companies to recall tainted food. So very nice, folks. List of U.S. senators who voted for the Senator 510 Food Safety Act. So it's officially called the Food Safety Modernization Act. It's like Russia's talking about modernization, folks. Here's all these sellouts that sold their constituents down the river and their healths to get better food. CIA brain experiments pursued a veteran suit, and this is basically talking about veterans that had research performed on them, basically putting microchips in their head. I'd recommend going to check out Duncan O'Finion's website. He is one individual who's talked about this, talking about having a brain chip, basically, also having electrodes, electric wire running through his right arm, I believe it was, one of his arms and one of his legs, that basically gave him superhuman strength. But he was supposedly an assassin, and some of them were psychic warriors, psychic spies. But they were badass killers, and they were used under Project Talent, under MK Ultra, which is sponsored by your U.S. government. So, and now it's out in the open. Obesity on rise, even in animals. Europe to ban BPA in baby bottles in 2011. So see, while your FDA is getting sweeping new powers to protect their slaves, right? They really care about you. Canada has now banned BPA, and now Europe is going to. And let's see, the United States is going to be the last one to do it, right? So next one up here is hospital botches operation causing healthy woman to lose both legs. That's right. They did just a regular simplest medical treatments has become high-risk activity that could result in serious injury or death. And basically, it was a surgical error where a woman got an infection and spread to her legs. And, got them amputated. So psychiatric researcher pleads guilty to research fraud. A psychiatrist on the payroll of GlaxoSmithKline, our eugenics buddies, has been sentenced to 13 months in prison after pleading guilty to committing research fraud in trials of the company's antidepressant Paxil on children. So it says that she's already serving a sentence of 87 months for defrauding Medicare and Medicaid, so she only got 13 months for this. And look at what she did. She was accused of by the FDA, right? That's because they had no other choice but to do that. So, of enrolling children in a clinical trial, even though she knew they did not actually suffer from major depressive or obsessive compulsive disorder, the conditions being studied. Pelzoa then falsified records and psychiatric diagnoses. So that's your pharma. That's your big pharma. Working hard for you. School hostage suspect dies, motive still unknown. And it goes down here and basically says in Wisconsin, the shooting, I just recently talked about how there would be more school shootings. They would just basically, whatever they had to do, turn up the ELFs. And lo and behold, you'll start having a string of school shootings, and then you'll start talking about, security, right? Problem, reaction, solution, security. Let's get those body scanners in there. And then you look to the bottom, and, it says, basically, once I get down to the bottom of it, it said Bennett's schools officials would review the incident and ask if anything could have been done differently. What could we have done? I wonder what it could be, guys. If there are some things we can improve on, you can be rest assured we'd be implementing that. So, and it talked about how they feel bad that they didn't have metal detectors. So, see, that's to be a standard now, right, in every school. I mean, you're behind the curve if you don't have metal detectors in all your schools. Xingzhang School resumes class after stampede. Class resumed Tuesday in the primary school where 41 children were injured Monday in a stampede in northwest China. And then you go to this, and then you check out 9 shocking examples of Black Friday violence. Is this a foretaste of the economic riots we can expect when the financial system collapsed? I'm sure most of you saw this, but it was just horrible, man. It was really, really just horrible. I mean, I wanted to show more of these, but I'm running out of time here, guys. I'll try to include it in a regular standard news bulletin. Just complete insanity, really. Complete insanity. This is what society's become, man. It's really, really sad. Russia plans to move its people to big towns. I already covered this before, but you know what this is for, right? This is all part of the modernization that Russia is talking about, and they're going to carry out a bunch of eugenics once they get these people out of these small areas where they're mostly healthy because they're spread out, and they're going to put them in these big mega cities and carry out eugenics on them. Mayor and state reach deal to pave way for school chief, says the state's education commissioner, and the Bloomberg administration have reached a deal that will allow Kathleen Black, a media executive, to become the next school chief. Look at here, state fed school ratings released for Lake Porter, and it says Lake County high schools fell in newly released ratings that track how well students perform and standardized tests. That means that the eugenics is being carried out and everything's going according to plan. And the Cancun climate change calls for rationing. Thank you.